Today I am sharing with you a day in the life of an English teacher on her final awards day. So this is awards day edition. I always get ready for the morning around 6 a.m., but today for some reason my brain woke me up around 5:30, so this is probably about 5:45 that I'm recording this video because I finally remembered to make this video. I've been planning on recording a day of my life almost this whole school year, and it has taken until this last day to finally record it. Now, I like to make my bed as one of the first things I do, so that's what I'm working on right now. Got to put all of my decor pillows up because I can't use those with my chiropractic needs regularly. It was raining outside, and it was raining all of last night, which I thought was so beautiful, so I wanted to share that with you. Now, one of the first things I do when I wake up is I get straight to brushing my teeth. And so here I am doing that. There's nothing crazy special about my teeth routine. I typically like to use whitening toothpaste, but I'm almost out, so I'm switching back to my regular Colgate. I also have been using an electric toothbrush on a regular basis ever since about middle school, but this past school year, I ran out of heads to the electric toothbrush, and I have not been able to take the time to get a new one yet, so I'm focusing on using a regular toothbrush. Now, I know this is a crazy transition and it might look a little spooky, but remember, this is about 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and I'm doing this in my hallway, trying not to wake up my roommate, because that's where I keep all of my supplies, considering we both have to share the sink space. So I'm starting with moisturizing my face, which I recently discovered you are not supposed to put on acne when you are noticing acne is forming. So I'm learning a lot about my own face care routine, but as you can tell, I just slathered all over my face. Once that is put away, there's a few other things I keep in here that I use on a regular basis. I am currently using the At the Beach perfume by Bath & Body Works because other perfumes that I've had have recently broken. The tip has broken, and so I can't spray it as easily as I can this. I also do just enjoy At the Beach perfume scent. I also use deodorant, but I'm not going to show you that on camera. And then I have my outfit that I had planned already for awards, which I'm showing you here. Ta-da! My green wrap dress is one of my favorite dresses. I also decided to pull out my fancy white Nike shoes, which you can already tell are a little off-white because I have gotten them dirty, and I'm going to be walking in the rain with them some more, so these shoes are not going to stay as pure as they once were. This wrap dress I've had for almost a whole year now. I found it last summer, and this is one of my favorite thrifting finds because as a tall person, I have very often struggled to find clothes that fit me well. And I also really enjoyed this specific clip because I have tied so many bows in my life, but I've never really paid attention to just how complex it can seem to someone who doesn't know how to tie a bow. So I think that's really cool to watch. I also finally remembered to brush my hair. I have, as a teacher, walked out the door without brushing my hair, but I've learned my lesson and I make sure to brush my hair. The worst part for me of brushing up my hair, other than the potential knots and snarls, is that I just feel like it destroys some of the natural waves that I've gained overnight. So in a few seconds, you'll see a comparison of what my hair looks like before and after being brushed. What I'm excited to realize, though, is that some of those curls do naturally stay, and some of them seem more prominent as the day goes on. So this is the biggest difference. Because my curls are brushed out, my waves are brushed out, my hair does seem a little bit longer. Now this is the second half of the process, so I'm just going to put it in ×2 speed and let you watch the rest of this. This also is a very interesting segment of my video to include because I did some extra things that I don't normally do in my morning routine. For example, I have these doTERRA pills, quote-unquote pills. They're like essential oil droplets. And so I'm taking an immune health one here because I am a teacher working with kids who are almost always sick. So just as a last precaution, hopefully I'm able to push away any sicknesses that my kids might give me on this awards day. I also was gifted this one that is just an essential oil for peppermint, which makes my breath smell a little bit better, which is a nice added plus, but I did brush my teeth, so hopefully I don't need this one. I'm also going to put on makeup here, specifically lip gloss. I do not put makeup on a regular basis on, and I don't know very much about makeup, as you probably can tell. I realized that while I was showing up many of my products, I absolutely forgot to show what lip balm I was using. So this is my Burt's Bees lip gloss. I have no idea what shade it's in. Then I had extra time, so I went straight into washing the dishes. This also is on ×2 speed because watching me wash the dishes looks very, very boring. As you can tell, I had a song stuck in my head. I think it was I'm Still Standing from Sing, but I just went on with my day, dancing, warming up the water, and now I'm finally getting to a few of my dinner dishes yesterday. My roommate has her own fancy dishwashing machine that almost only holds her dishes, but that's okay. I can wash mine by hand, and I need to remember to do so instead of saving them for the next morning. The good news is, because I'm only in charge of my dishes, I can stay on top of them a lot better than I could when I have to share my sink with many other people in the dorms, or when I'm at my parents' house who are always getting on my case for my dishes. I'm fairly convinced that shoot that I just said came from a dish that I remember I left at school that I was planning on using, but I truly find it humorous how much I talk in my head and randomly say things out loud and don't even realize it. And we now have a clear sink space. I also have recently been making my own chai tea, and so I stay on top of that every morning by taking the concentrate that I homemade over the weekend and pouring myself a glass. I started with an old Smucker's natural peanut butter jar, but then I realized that it would be better for me to just add the tea into the little bit of milk I have left in this container. Now I used powdered milk, and so I always have to prep it the night before, so it's cold by the time I want to use it, because in powdered milk you need to use boiling water so it mixes properly. Now I wanted to include my struggles of opening this jar for a few reasons. One, to show that I did a really good job sealing it when this concentrate was warm, and two, to prove that I can open my own jars as a woman, even though they are challenging. So here I am combining them, and you can definitely tell that it mixes and looks more like an average tea that you would see. I added a few ice cubes, as much as I could without having my cup overflow, in yet another glass jar that I have saved up from other uses. And then I'm going to mix it all together, and this is my quote-unquote coffee cup that I will be using for the rest of the day. I like to refill my ice cube tray before I stick it back in the freezer, even though I'm the only one that uses ice cubes, and I use 4 to 6 per drink, but it's good to stay on top of that for me. Then I got to put away the concentrate, and my drink is all ready to go, and I'll be ready to head out the door soon too. Cheers! I actually came back to doing my hair again because I had this vision since yesterday evening where I wanted to try a side braid that would mix in with the ponytail. I don't think it turned out quite the way I hoped that it would, but I am learning so much about my hair and experimenting, figuring out what styles I can do and what works for me, and so I wouldn't say it was a complete flop because I did learn from it, and I have a few ideas of how I can make it better. So here's me putting it in the ponytail. I'm going to show it off from each side, without the braid and the side with the braid, which you can barely still see is in there. Now I'm heading off the door, got my keys in my hand, my coffee in my hand as well, and this rain is making everything green pop so much. This is me walking down the hallway of my school, pretty much for the last time. Obviously there are no students around because this is very early in the morning before the students have arrived. It's about 7 a.m. by the time I'm headed to school. And we don't have any required teacher meetings until 7:15 in the morning. Because there are no required meetings until 7:15, this is my opportunity to sit down and get down any work that I need to do. Now, I like to start the day prepared, and so I'm obviously not going to save all my work for last minute. But if I want to work on lesson plans for the following week, or what I'm working on in this video is preparing for next school year by saving resources and ideas for making my lessons better, this is what I like to do early in the morning. I am definitely a morning person. I function best in the morning, so I can get much done in this time, and it works great for me. I just got to delete my morning alarm, which tells me that I was supposed to head to work or wake up at 6:30. I'm here at 6:30 right now, and I never have to have that alarm on again. So I just totally deleted that alarm, and I am so happy. So this is where we normally meet for our staff devos. Of course, that is a very personal place where we have personal conversations, so I didn't want to record that. After devotions, then we have breakfast with the students. I'm drinking a coffee that one of my students made for me, and here I am showing off a bracelet that one of the teachers gifted to me today. Right after breakfast, we headed to the center that we have to use, so I'm just showing you a panel of that right now. Mostly only our middle and high school students have arrived at this point. We're still waiting for the bus to bring over the other students. And then once all the students arrived and we got them set up on stage, they practiced through their songs before the performance. Wow, my hair is a mess. So it has been a full day. And I just heard the sirens going on because we have sirens around here that let us know at exactly noon and exactly 10 p.m. at night that, at noon, got to make sure that you have had lunch, and at 10, that's curfew. So anyway, it is only noon because we have our award ceremony. Took about an hour and a half, and then all of the teachers met together at Subway. Totally forgot to film that, but I have my Subway sandwich here. Got a foot long purposefully so I could save the other 6 inches for later. However, I know that I struggle with my eating problems. If I'm hungry, or if there's food in front of me, even if I'm not hungry, I'm gonna eat it all up. Gobble, gobble, gobble. So I was able to resist that temptation. I'm so thankful about that. Also, a student gave me this today, not as a end of the year thank you, but simply as a, I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it to an event, which he definitely didn't need to give to me, but I appreciate nonetheless. So again, trying to monitor what I consume. It's half empty. I'm gonna set it aside. I might still finish it for dinner, which means I consumed 1 whole soda in a day. But the last soda I had that size just a few weeks ago, I chugged in like 30 seconds. So I'm working on making better eating habits. But all this being said, also, I think I showed this earlier in just a short clip, but I was given this as a gift by one of the teachers today, so that was really exciting. I drove the bus home. Wow, I have a lot, a lot of random orders. After the award ceremony was over, there were a few students that didn't get picked up by parents, grandparents, anything like that. So I drove them home, and then as soon as I finished driving them home, I went to Subway because that's where teachers were planning on meeting. They were all already there. I waited in line, got my food, sat with people. Now I've headed home and I'm recording this video. So that's what's happened so far. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna vlog much more because this is the first afternoon of my summer break. And as a teacher, I still have another week's worth of responsibilities before I'm actually officially free on my summer break. So my afternoon off will look a lot different than if a teacher was totally free or if these students are totally free. Anyway, we'll see. Bye.